Hey everybody, this is Tracy here for another edition of A View from Tracy's Point, and we are here to recap Iyanla Fix My Life Season 4, Episode 16, which was titled Family of Lies, Part 3, and thank God, this is the last part of this show. So this video won't be long because there was so much screaming and disrespect going on. I tuned out and started tweeting on Twitter about this foolishness. So Iyanla came up with all the excuses for Alicia's behavior and how, she has ruined these girls' lives. And molestation, I agree, is a serious issue and something that you live with forever. But Miss Alicia got something else going on. I'm starting to think that this chick is like really exhibiting the behavior of a narcissistic sociopath. Like, she is such a master manipulator. She has taken Iyanla out of character. And so they have just downplayed, the fact that Preccious was molested and moved on to a whole other toxic topic. So she and Shay licking the cat of the same woman. I was like, seriously, what else are they going to throw in the gumbo? Like, really, Shay and Alicia were dating the same woman. So we done went from you allowing people to adopt your children who molested you, and you just found out that one of the daughters was molested by the same person that you were molested by. You're upset that Shay is now friends with the molester. Now we find out that there's an even bigger issue, which is the fact that y'all fighting over a woman. Just like, come on, man. Let's not do this, okay? But we did, and it was the entire episode. So you remember when the show ended last week, Alicia had decided she was leaving the house, and she done went upstairs screaming about how Iyanla told her she could leave, and somebody called her a car because she ain't doing this no more. They not going to be making her look bad and all that other foolishness. So then, Iyanla goes up and talk to her, and they get to screaming back and forth, and she's talking about they're lying on her, and Iyanla's like, okay, well, you taught them how to lie, so they're just doing what you taught them. So then there was this scene on the stairs with the girls where Alicia comes downstairs with her suitcase packed, and the girls run up the stairs and try and stop her. And so it kind of like really pissed me off, because I'm thinking like my heart breaks for these girls, because they, like so many others, have been forced into this notion that you have to have a relationship with your mother or other relatives at all costs. And yes, we all want, to have this storybook relationship with our moms, but if it isn't to be, we have to be able to let it go. And so I don't know if it is a residual from slavery and how, families were torn apart and separated, but we have to get to a place where we understand that sometimes our mothers or any other, I'm not just blaming mothers, it could be any family member, it could be your father, it could be your siblings, it could be whoever. We just have to get to a point where, especially with mothers, where we look at it as, this person was just the vessel that God used to give us life, and that we don't owe our lives to that person, and that once you've done all that you can do to foster a relationship, shy of being destructive to your own happiness, know that you can love a person and respect them from a distance, that you don't have to be in the house with that person, you don't have to be hanging out with that person. If they are draining your energy, if they are making you unhappy, making you doubt who you are as a person, at some point you gotta let it go. And I think that these girls need to let Miss Alicia go on about her business. Because, there's really no law that says that you have to waste your life trying to save someone who doesn't want to be saved. So when they were sitting, around the table, you can see, how empty and void of emotion Alicia is. And I know Shay, wants to slap the fire out of her. You could just see it in her face. And so my heart hurts the most for Shay, because she has been damaged the most. And she never had a childhood. She never received a thank you from Alicia. And, as a child, because she basically gave up her childhood to help raise her siblings and to protect Alicia and, to keep her secrets and keep them from being taken by the state and all this stuff. And then now that she's an adult, she's still having the life drained out of her by this fighting and bickering with her mom, who obviously does not love her, obviously does not appreciate her, and obviously does not see her as her child, but sees her as a woman, out in the streets that she's competing with. And so it makes no sense that these girls have to prove to this woman over and over and over again how much they love her, and she can't even look them in the eye and feel their pain or feel the destruction that she's caused. And so Iyanla, she's talking about joy cometh in the morning and for them to go get a good night sleep. And I'm thinking there is nothing joyous about this whole mess for them to wake up and feel better about Iyanla. So Iyanla was kind of getting on my nerves too in this episode. So with Alicia, came out the next day, she looked all refreshed and revived, and she's talking about how she prayed. And I was like, girl, what do you know about prayer? I was just she put on this show for Iyanla, and Iyanla just ate it up. And I'm thinking, how can you sit there talking about you felt useless because, what did she say? They made her feel useless because they didn't appreciate all the things that she's done for them. What have you done for them that they should appreciate? Once again, you weren't there. You abandoned them. You allowed them to be molested. You won't get the help that you need, because I'm convinced at this point that you need some medication and you need a psychotherapist, Miss Alicia. So, yeah, if you're going to feel useless because you have damaged 6 people, that you have 6 broken images of you out here in this world trying to survive. And I really hate to come off like I have no hope for the situation, but what I'm saying is there is no hope unless Alicia acknowledges, her role in all of this. And when Iyanla asked her, what would she forgive herself for, once again it was all about her. And I'm thinking she would have said, I want to forgive myself for, creating this mess of a family that I have. I forgive myself for putting my child in a situation where she, was molested by the same person that molested me. I forgive myself that I've created, all this anger and resentment. But no, she was upset because, nobody sees her as a human and nobody appreciates what she's done. And so I did agree with Iyanla, when she says that you have to forgive yourself for believing that you could have done better when you didn't know how to do better. Now, I truly agree with that, because I know with my own daughters who I have a really good relationship with, but I would be naive to believe that being a mother in my early 20s, I didn't make mistakes, that I was just going off, instinct, and this is what I wanted to do. And taking things from my own relationship with my mother and saying, well, I know I don't want to do this, or I don't want to be that kind of mother. But I realized that my mother was the best mother, that she knew to be, and she ingrained so much in me to make me be the best mom that I could be. And then hopefully if my daughters ever have children, they'll just build upon that and become even better mothers. So Iyanla says that she can relate to Alicia because she has been there, but she had to learn how to sit in her mess and sit in what she did and acknowledge, her wrongs and her roles in the breakdown, I guess, between her and her mother, or her and her daughters. And then I was thinking that I like the dynamic between Shay and Iyanla, because you could tell that Iyanla probably sees a lot of her daughter in Shay, and then you could tell that Shay wishes Iyanla was the mother that she had been blessed to have. And so I wish, whatever helped Iyanla get through, her hurt and pain, that it came in a liquid form so she can give Alicia some of it to drink, because this sister is just, like I say, totally detached. So now we get to the heart of the matter between Alicia and Shay, and guess what? It has nothing to do with molestation, abandonment, or abuse. Like I said earlier, it is about a woman. So yes, Alicia and Shay were sleeping with the same woman. So instead of going to Shay and telling her that she was seeing the woman that Shay had started a relationship with, Alicia got so angry that she started sending hate mail to Shay's job and texting her repeatedly, these like nasty, angry messages. And so I could be wrong, and correct me if I am, but what I think happened is that Alicia had a friend, and Shay and the other girls believed that they were just good friends. So then the lady came on to Shay, which is sort of kind of like a form of molestation. I'm thinking, not as serious as molestation, but it is like a form of manipulation. So this woman comes on to Shay. Her and Shay start a relationship, and then in Alicia's mind, because she doesn't know how to communicate with anybody, she thought that Shay knew that her and this woman was licking Kit Kats and was trying to spite her and had a relationship with this woman. But Shay said that all she ever knew was that the woman was Alicia's friend. And so I'm just thinking, like, regardless if that's what Alicia thought, first of all, why would you think it was okay that this woman that you were having a relationship then went after your daughter? To me, that was like the ultimate disrespect from the lady. So why weren't you mad at the lady? Why didn't you confront the lady? But instead you attacked Shay. And then the way Shay was telling it, she said she would get to work at 7:30 and Alicia would start emailing her and would email her until she got off at 4 o'clock. Then she was sending her text messages around the clock. And I'm just thinking, oh my God, this is just too much. So Shay ended up ending the relationship, once she learned that the truth about Alicia. And then she said that Alicia refused to give the woman up and refuses to acknowledge that she's a lesbian. So Iyanla is looking as confused as I was, and I'm sure that many of you were. So here she is trying to talk to Shay about the child molester and how to deal with their friendship when she returns home. And Shay is like, that ain't even an issue. I know how to deal with that issue. She says, my mama has sunk to a new low, and that's what we need to talk about. So I was like, oh my God. So after Shay, lays it out for Iyanla, Iyanla goes to get Alicia. And so at this point, all control is lost. Alicia again doesn't take responsibility, and the two get into a shouting match. And all I heard was Iyanla saying for them to breathe, just breathe. Because if you're yelling and screaming, you're not really breathing or thinking, and you're not listening to the other person. And so at this point, Iyanla had to yield control of her show and just let them have at it. And so Alicia, was rubbing her hands like she was doing like this. You know how when the horse be about to attack and be doing like this with his hoof in the dirt. That's what Alicia reminded me of. She was just sitting there like she was ready to tear Shay a new one. But Shay wasn't backing down, and she let Alicia take her out of character. And she got to the point where there was no more yes ma'am to Iyanla. She was bringing it full throttle. She was cussing, and I think she called Alicia a bitch a time or two. She was saying the MF word. She was just, everything that she had done compressed and bottled up in her, it came out in that argument. And so, Alicia was just in denial because then she was like, telling Iyanla, she said, oh, well, we were lovers. And she said, well, we weren't lovers. We were friends. And then she said, I guess I'm trisexual. And Iyanla was like, well, what the hell is trisexual? And she was like, I'll try anything. And then she said that Shay knew that her and the lady was in a relationship. But then she said Shay didn't know her and the lady was in a relationship. But then she said that Oh, then Shay said something about the lady had bought her a pair of shoes, and then it became like a competition because then Alicia said, well, she bought me more than she bought you. You know, she's done more for me than she. I was just like, are you serious right now? And I could not believe, you know, that this was a mother talking to her daughter. Then things escalated to screaming and cursing, and Shay was like, I would rather apologize to Iyanla later. Because I'm about to get this out of me, and everything I have to say, it will be said today. And I was just like, oh my God. So when I tell you, after that argument, I went to get me a glass of wine and took me a hot bath so I could clear my mind, because I don't smoke weed. Because remember, Alicia, when she was walking away, she was telling Iyanla's staff that they need to go get Shay her weed so she could clear her mind. And Shay said she don't need no weed to clear her mind, that Alicia needed some truth to clear her mind, because until she acknowledged all her lies and get out of denial and all this stuff, that none of them were ever going to be able to heal. So after Alicia, you know, stormed off, Iyanla, you know, tried to explain to Shay that you don't need people to agree with your experience, because your experience is your experience. And what you end up doing is making the person get on the defensive and trying to prove that your experience is not what actually happened. And so if Alicia's defense is to deny and lie, then how does any of this help Shay or help the other girls resolve any of these issues? And I'm thinking that, you know, yes, forgiveness is the only way to move forward, but do it for yourself, Shay, so you can move on from this toxicity, because Alicia's response is all you need to know. Nothing is ever going to change with her. And then I'm thinking, like, Iyanla went back in the house, and, you know, after she talked to Shay and got Shay, you know, to agree to, well, she didn't get Shay to agree to apologize. Shay said that she was going to apologize because she recognized that she was out of order for cussing at her mom and calling her mom the B word. So she did want to apologize. So they go into the house, and then Iyanla's holding Alicia, and then she tells, I think it was Marcia and Marcale, maybe, they were holding on to Shay. And so she was telling them, you know, that they were being the support. And then in the background of the camera, you could see Preccious standing there. And I'm thinking, like, poor Preccious. She got absolutely no resolution or acknowledgement to the hurt and abandonment that she feels. And she is probably leaving this show more broken than she was when she came. And so the show ended with Iyanla, you know, doing that brick exercise like what she did with the girl who won the lottery and was wasting all the money. And so they were basically acknowledging all the hurt that they brought into the experience with them. And then after she had passed out all the bricks and named, you know, what each brick stood for, they took the bricks out to the lake and tossed them into the water, I guess like the sea of forgetfulness, that they were going to forget all this, leave it there, and then they won't start fresh when they got back home. And I thought it was interesting that Fix My Life ends with a brief follow-up, you know, on how the guests are doing since the taping ended. But on this show, we didn't get that. You know, we had Iyanla talking to us about how hard and difficult this whole situation is, and for them to fully heal, you know, they're going to have to take the next steps and everything. But we don't know, like, where these chicks from, what happened after the show, where they at now. We don't know none of that. And I also noticed that in the final scene when Iyanla was wrapping things up, that everybody was in the background talking to each other, but Shay was not there. It was just Alicia and the other 5 girls. I'm not sure if that was just coincidental or if Shay had them threw that rock in that water and walked her butt on off their property and went back home. But anyway, guys, I'm glad that this 3-part series is over, and next week I think it's going to be pure comedy because we got Laura Govan on there. I don't know if Gilbert Arenas is going to show up on next episode, but we know that Laura, that show is going to be very entertaining because the shenanigans that's been going on with them two for the past few years could be a dang on reality show of its own. So that's it for me. Leave your comments below, rate the video, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And until the next time, I hope everyone has a great week, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.